Hello and welcome to the Advocates Corner. I'm Clark Peña, and today we have another special program for you. We are being seen via live stream from many networks. We thank our executive producer for that. And today we have a very special program that's going to be seen live now. And next week it will be seen in Westchester, Port Chester, and Yonkers, New York. We're going to talk about justice, and something that's very important when you talk about justice is integrity, honesty, and most importantly, dedication. Committed to public service for 30 years, we are honored and proud to have Yonkers Judge, civil court judge if I'm not mistaken, Supreme Court candidate. And knock on wood, I see him getting there. With the help of God and the help of our viewers. We are honored to have Judge Thomas Quinones. He's a candidate for New York State Supreme Court Justice. Your Honor, are you on the air?
Good evening. Good evening. Yes, I am. Thank you for having me, Clark. I appreciate your interest in my campaign and taking the time to speak with me and have me on your program.
And thank you for accepting the invitation. It's a great honor to have your honor here. We're going to talk about a lot of great things. 26 minutes go by really quickly, so let's jump right to it. As we were talking during the break, everyone as a child aspires to be something, a doctor, a nurse. And what did you, as you were growing up in your early years, plus you're going to tell us where you're from, what did you aspire to be?
Well, I was born in Manhattan, and at a very young age, we moved to the Bronx to get a better life and get access to the grass and trees. And ultimately, when I met my wife, we thought it'd be a good idea to escape to the country from the Bronx, and we ended up in Yonkers. I didn't realize when I say that originally, I didn't realize that it was a joke because Yonkers is also a city, but I do have grass and trees. And I've been able to advantage my children with having a more suburban lifestyle rather than the asphalt and concrete that I was and still am so familiar with.
Yeah, and you weren't really, as you well know, that Yonkers has very close proximity to Manhattan.
Oh, yeah, no, it's minutes away, and it's minutes away, but it's a whole different flavor, feel, and the Yonkers is a city of 210,000 people right now, and it's a small town, but it's also a big city. Doesn't compare to New York City, but it is. You get to know all of your elected officials, the mayor, council people, the assemblymen, our senators. We get to know all those folks.
You spent some time in the Bronx, Your Honor, did you not?
Yeah, I did. From 1990, goodness sakes, from 1966. Until 2006.
Wow.
So all my years. I'm a proud graduate of DeWitt Clinton High School. They afforded me a great education, and they gave me lofted me into a great university and everything else that follows. You asked me earlier, what did I want to do when I was younger? My mother was always in the medical field. She was a medical assistant for many years. So that's what I saw, and I wanted to be a doctor.
Really?
And I did okay, and I was on my way in college to become a doctor. But I got involved with the higher levels of math and biology, and I said, maybe not. This is not the career for me. Mm-hmm. And then the default position, I was always good at languages and English and all that. So it was a natural fit for me. And also with regard to, it's hard not to be aware of our society and what's fair and what's not fair and who's advantaged, who's not advantaged. So my interest gradually became more social as to how is it, who am I, do I fit into this place, and what's my future going to be?
35 years, Your Honor.
It is. Like from when I graduated from law school in 1987 to now, it's 35 years.
Wow, time flies.
All that, it does, time fly. And it's been hard work. And my law school, I went to the University of New York Law School, and their motto is law in the service of human needs. And that's such synchrony with me because I wanted to make things better. Because I know that well, was whether I knew it was fair or not fair, the circumstances that my single mother raising my brother and I was or wasn't, because that was beneath my level of consciousness or awareness. Because I had, if you ask me, I had a wonderful childhood. I had everything I needed. I didn't go hungry. But looking back on it now, we were very poor. Not that we knew it, but we were very poor. And my ambition has always been to affect people or help people with through law and justice. Because our community sometimes is denied justice, or even is justice not available to them because they don't understand how the system works, or how better to engage the system to your advantage. So I've always been involved with regard to leaving things better than how I found them, and I think all the many families that I've affected through the years. And in fact, today I was getting gas at the local gas station, and the gentleman walks up to me, he goes, "Judge Quinones," and he gives me a pound. And I said to him, I was like, I don't recall you. And he goes, "Oh yeah, you gave me a break." And I said, "What do you mean I gave you a break?" It's like, "You didn't send me to jail." And I go, "Okay, fine." I don't remember the case specifically. And he goes, "But how are you doing now?" And he said to me, "I'm doing fine. I have a job right here like that, and I'm very happy. I got a girlfriend, and we're on our way." And I said to him, "I expect never to see you in my court again, other than as a guest or a visitor." And he says, "No, don't worry about that. You're never going to see me there again." And the thing is, that those are folks who will come up to me and help me understand that I'm affecting positive change. And he's not the only person who's come up to me with regard and commented with regard to the measure of justice and compassion that I afforded them in the courtroom that typically does not afford anyone any measure of compassion.
Is that a doable thing? Is it fair? Justice with compassion? Can you do that type? Is that possible? Does that fit?
Well, it's my struggle. It's my struggle because sometimes, I'm guided by the law. I'm obligated to abide by the law. I don't write the laws. The laws are written by the legislature, and my job is to enforce them, apply them, and arrive at correct legal conclusions. But I have to admit to you that sometimes those conclusions don't seem fair or right to me. So I struggle with that every single day with regard to aligning those two things together, and that's what I perceive as being justice. When law is applied and it's fair, and people feel that they've gotten justice and satisfied by the system, that to me sounds like justice.
Your Honor, what do you feel? I know a lot of attorneys, I know a lot of judges, I know a lot of prosecutors. What do you feel is a proper demeanor, and for lack of a better word, for a judge?
Well, I can guide you by the. I'm the same person I've always been. I think I found a job that suited me. With regard to what's a good judge, a judge is someone who's fair, impartial, knows the law and applies the law fairly and correctly, notwithstanding who you may be, what walk of life you come from. And you also have the temperament to treat people with dignity and respect. Because a lot of the court systems that we're in are there but for the grace of God go I, that any of us can be caught up with. Because just by being a citizen or being present in this country, get caught up into the criminal justice system, or you're suing someone or someone's suing you. And what you expect is, from the court, is that you're allowed to be heard. Whether you're right or wrong, whether you ultimately win your case or not, is less important. That you had your opportunity for someone to listen to your problems, and someone who's concerned and care, and also explain to you why you have received the outcome that you received. And ultimately, I think that's a judge who does a good job in explaining what the job is. I'm not Solomon, and I just make decisions with no consideration. And you take my decision. That's the decision. Get out of here. Leave my presence. No, I'm a servant. I'm a member of the community, and my job is to apply the law, hopefully to render justice in a fair and impartial way. So hopefully that answered your question. I hope.
You answered it 110%, sir. Spano will swear in Quinones on Friday at a city inauguration ceremony at Phillips Manor Hall State Historic Site on Warburton Avenue. This was
a very historic day for me and my family.
This was in 2015. The first Hispanic, as they call it here, Latino. Can we use that?
Latino.
that
Boricua.
sits on the bench, Boricua, that sits on the bench in Yonkers. ¿Qué sentiste? What did you feel when that happened?
Pero muy orgulloso, muy orgulloso. I'm very, very proud. The thing is, becoming a judge, as a lawyer, becoming a judge, that's like the top of the profession. And having the mayor, a judge retired in Yonkers, and then the mayor gets to fill the position for a year by someone who thinks he feels is appropriate. So as the mayor, he can help steer his city in a way that he would like it to become. We hadn't had a Hispanic judge to that point, and he thought it was an important thing to give his community, the Yonkers community, to appoint the first Hispanic judge. Not only did he vetted my qualifications, and we spoke a variety of times before he appointed me to test my mettle and see who I was, because I didn't know him. And he hopefully to choose someone who would represent the citizens of Yonkers, and also take Yonkers that further step forward into the future, to have the judicial bench to be more reflective of the community that we're in. Because Yonkers is 25% Hispanic, that means about 50,000 people are of Hispanic origin or Latino origin in the city of Yonkers. And we hadn't had a Hispanic judge to that point. So he helped that. And he kicked that door open for me. The following November, the good citizens of the city of Yonkers elected me to a 10-year term, which I currently serve. And if I make a brief comment with regard to Yonkers, what a special place it is that November I ran as a Democrat, but I was also endorsed by the Republicans, Conservatives, and Independents, which means to me that in Yonkers, never mind the national trouble we're having in politics, but Yonkers was able to get their act together enough to have consensus with regard to who they wanted sitting on the bench. So we have these people who often at odds are able to agree that I should be the person sitting on the Yonkers City Court bench.
And when the great Mayor Mike Spano appointed you, who was in the audience watching this great this history-making moment? Who was there for you?
Well, for me, certainly my wife and all my children, and my mother was there, as well as a whole bunch of my friends, and also all my friends from the city of Yonkers. And again, it was a moment that we were able to all share and exult in with regard to the big step that Yonkers has taken. Since that time, we have our second Hispanic judge, who is also a superstar with regard to being on the bench in City Court of Yonkers, and we expect great things from her in the future as well. So that we push Yonkers forward with regard to being more reflective of who we are in the city.
Absolutely, Judge. Is that Elena Goldberg?
Elena Goldberg Velasquez.
She's a superstar.
Sharp.
Absolutely. I expect to see she's doing great things now, but bigger things as we move forward.
Absolutely. Sky's the limit for her.
Sky's the limit.
I'm limited by age, but she doesn't have that disadvantage.
Oh, there is a age limit for judges?
All judges in New York State are required to resign on the last day of the year when they turn 70.
Wow. We learned something. I learned something today. I didn't know.
Some judges can continue on after that by they're employed by their certificate. They're appointed by the chief judge, but they're no longer serving in an elected term. They're serving at the pleasure of the chief judge of the courts of New York State. That's Janet Fiore right now.
And how did you feel, Your Honor, when you first day you put on that robe that means so much to folks that are into law and order? That means the world to me when I see the judge and I see that robe. That's serious stuff.
Well, I didn't have a robe, and I wore a borrowed robe because I had purpose. The Yonkers Lawyer Association, they take great pride in whenever a new judge is elected in the city of Yonkers, that they present them with their first robe. So they hadn't had the opportunity to do so yet. So I borrowed a robe, and I stood there to be sworn in with a borrowed robe. But let me tell you, nonetheless, I felt the awe of the position and the responsibility that I had taken on. And funny you asked me that question, because I had to look up why are judges special? Why do they wear this different kind of clothes than anybody else? And the best piece that I could find about that talks about that is written by Judge Sandra Day O'Connor, first woman Supreme Court Justice of the United States. And she wrote that the robe is to serve to remind everyone in the courtroom that that's where the decisions are made. This is a person of respect, that has to make decisions in the courtroom. That's where we sit at the front of the courtroom, at the highest point of the courtroom, and that would to turn to us, to look to us for direction and the leadership. But the other part of it is that was more important to me, other than that, is that when I put the robe on, it should serve to remind me, to remind any judge who puts the robe on, that the awesome responsibility that we've taken on to be fair, to be impartial, to listen to everyone, even if I'm not feeling well or I've done my best day. It's my obligation to make sure that I give the people the respect that they're due in the courtroom, and also that I listen to their cases. And it serves to remind me that it's my obligation to abide by the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and the city charter of the City of Yonkers. So I take that responsibility very seriously, because I'm not just me representing, I'm representing the trust that all the citizens of Yonkers who have placed in me when they voted me and elected me to be a judge in the City of Yonkers.
Absolutely, yeah. And Judge, something else that I've noticed, and for full disclosure purposes, I'm a big fan, and I'm new to Yonkers, but I will be voting, and obviously,
Thank you.
I'll be voting for you. And we want to make sure that everyone understands that you're a judge, you're a legal scholar, but at the same time, you're a family man. You have a wife, you have children. Tell us a little bit about them, and how do they feel about your judgeship and moving on to the Supreme Court?
Well, my family couldn't be any more supportive. I've been with my wife for 25 plus years, and we have a blended family. She has a child, I have a child, and we have a child together. But this is my family, my blended family, and as we discussed a little earlier, we had the honor. Well, my oldest, Anthony, my wife's son, he was just appointed to become a New York City of Yonkers detention officer. So he'll be working in the court system as well, taking care of the rest of us. He's on the job,
He's on the job. That's right.
He's on the job. And the mayor, I had the great pleasure of the mayor swearing him in on his position. And he begins the academy on Monday, so he expects this to be his last job.
Right,
my oldest is graduated from RPI during the pandemic. And I call her my underachiever, because she's always complaining that she's not doing things as quickly as she'd like to. But since she's graduated, she's gotten engaged, she bought a house, she quit a job and started her own business.
Oh, very good.
I think maybe her thinking that she's underachieving impels her into the future. So I expect big business things from her. And the baby is Alexis. She's a teacher in the city of Yonkers as a Catholic school teacher, and I believe that she's found her passion in her life, which is teaching children and educating the future leaders of Yonkers and the state.
Well,
So congratulations!
Congratulations! Congratulations
on
all, Judge. It's when we get our next Supreme Court judge in you. You're not only going to be sitting up there on the bench, but you're also, everyone knows that you're a family man. So what's the saying? If you talk the talk, you walk the walk, and I think you've done it all. you have everything covered.
The first thing that I wouldn't tell you about is my job, or I'm a lawyer, or things like that. The first thing I talk about is my family, and that's my DNA, who I am, a family man, a father. And that defines me more than being a judge. I'm very happy in my job and my career, but that doesn't define me as a person. I think I am who I am based upon the circumstances of my life and my aspirations, and the recreation of the poor child from El Barrio to be a man who has a responsible job and has done right by his family, and making sure that they're well taken care of. And I commented to you a little earlier that we come from very modest means, or I come from very modest means, and I enjoyed my childhood. I can't complain about it. I never went to bed hungry, but I'm not sure that's true about my mother. I think she sacrificed herself for us, and that tremendous investment that she made in me continues to pay itself off in my life as to what the things I've done, and also I see it now paying itself forward that she was able to afford me the opportunity and ability and knowledge and education to be able to bring up my own children, my own family, and teach them how I am. And I expect that the generation after them will benefit from all of our lessons and that seed that my mother planted so many years ago in 1960.
And kudos to her. Job well done.
Thank you. Again, every day, I'm thankful to her every day. I still have her with me. I'm very blessed to have her with me.
Amen.
And like I mentioned,
Absolutely.
she's probably the proudest mom in the United States.
Absolutely. And I look forward to meeting her when you get sworn in as Supreme Court.
Thank you.
We have with us
She'll be right
Judge.
there.
Absolutely. We have with us Judge Quinones, if you're just joining us. Judge Quinones is running for New York State Supreme Court Justice. He's currently the sitting judge in the city of Yonkers, el primer Latino, the first Latino that Mayor Mike Spano appointed, the great Mayor Mike Spano. I can honestly say I like the mayor's style, but I also am enjoying his appointments. He does his homework.
He kicked that door open for me and for all of us as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. You spent some time. Let's go a little bit back because this is a little bit important to me. You spent some time working with children in the Bronx in the family court. How was that? Because I passed by the family court many times. It looks really a lot of stuff going on there.
Well, again, the family court is unlike other courts. If you're Supreme Court, you sue someone or you're being sued. You go to a criminal court, you did something or something was done to you, and you're there because of what you've done. The family court, the only thing that qualifies you to go to family court is that you have a family and you have problems that are beyond your ability to resolve. And we're there. And unlike in the criminal court or civil court, there's no resolutions that have a period at the end of the sentence. These are ongoing resolutions that you're trying to apply whatever therapies and abilities that we have to get people back on track to be able to reform their intact families and to be able to not pass on the difficulties from one generation to the next generation. And that's the effort of the family court. We never surrender on any single family or any single child. That's our job, is to make sure that we attempt to give them the best services possible in order for them to be successful citizens, people, and happy people. That may be a stretch to make people happy, but that's our effort to make sure that they're whole and complete. And like you mentioned, in 1987, when I graduated from law school, I was offered various jobs, but I was hired by the Human Resource Administration of the City of New York to be a child abuse and maltreatment prosecutor. That means I presented those cases before the court. And among the things that you do is you have to present a case before a judge. And you have to stand up there and present the case and prosecute the case against whomever the offending party may be. And I never thought that I had the ability to be able to stand up and argue a case, because there's lots of different types of lawyers. And litigators once you go to court in front of a judge, are a small portion. And a lot of them work in offices and do other more mundane things. I never thought I'd be able to stand up and argue a case, but it turns out that I was pretty good at it, and I ended up being at the highest level of those attorneys prosecuting the child abuse cases, which were always contested cases. They never resolved by agreement or resolution. Those cases had to ultimately go to verdict, where the judge decided exactly what the resolution was.
Absolutely, Judge.
So that was those cases involving the least of the citizens of the children of the Bronx, and our job was to make sure that they were okay or better than they were when we found them, like I mentioned earlier.
And Judge, from what I read and I've heard, you did a great job there too. You're batting 100.
I was promoted to central office, where I was given the position to supervise not just the county that I worked in, but the 5 counties in New York, where I assisted the general counsel with regard to all the family cases that happened in New York City.
Excellent.
That was a responsible job too.
Real quickly, Your Honor, La Hora TV, we're being seen live there, Facebook Live, Roku Live, Opción Live, Uno Live, Amazon. You see it right there on the screen. We're there live, and the most important thing is we're seen in Yonkers, Harrison, and Portchester system, and that's seen on Fridays from 8:30 to 9. So you'll catch the judge once again this upcoming Friday from 8:30 to 9 on Yonkers, Harrison, Portchester system. So thank you all for viewing us. Your Honor, in a few minutes we have left, talk to the people. They're going to be out there. I think there's early voting, and let them know. Let them know why you are the clear choice for New York State Supreme Court.
Well, there are 5 spots that are available. When we started the season, there were 3 spots, and based on the population changes, it required that there be 2 additional judges. So there are 5 judges being elected. And my request is, if you vote for all 5 of the Democratic candidates. That's Bob Berliner in Rockland County, Tom Davis up in Dutchess County, Jim Heyer in Putnam County, and Chrissy DeLessio and myself here in Westchester County. Although we expect to be sitting in those particular counties as judges, or Supreme Court justices rather, all 5 counties get to vote for all of us. So I actually vote for the ticket. We're all working hard together to make sure that we speak with everyone possible and get to know us at least a little bit with regard to our abilities and our intent with regard to how to become a Supreme Court judge, and our ambition to become Supreme Court justices. And I also would suggest to you that, I know we spoke about it earlier, we touched upon it, my being Hispanic or Latino, as more modern way to say it, is don't vote for me because I'm Hispanic, but vote for me based upon my qualifications, vote for me based upon the history and effort that I put into being a public servant, and also based upon my temperament and the track record that I put in these last 26 years involved being a judge in Yonkers 6 years and a magistrate in the family court for the prior 20 years. I have a proven track record to being a fair justice, and more importantly, listening to the litigants who are in front of me and delivering to them justice. Because we talk about thousands and thousands of cases that I may have done, but when I do a case, we do one case at a time, and that's one individual at a time, and that's who we affect, and it couldn't be any more personal to the person who's involved in the litigation. And I made it my effort to understand them, attempt to put myself in their shoes, but also apply the law and justice, and ultimately, folks who don't prevail in front of me, that they understand why is it didn't prevail, or why is it that they're responsible for the weight of the law.
Well, we thank you so much, Your Honor.
And that's why.
Like always, Your Honor, time is short when we're having great conversation. We want to thank Your Honor for honoring us at the Advocates Corner, for appearing with us. I think, in my honest and humble opinion, the choice is clear. So thank you once again, Judge Quinones, candidate for New York State Supreme Court Justice. I'm Clark Peña, always reminding you, take care of yourself, but more importantly, let's take care of each other. Hasta la próxima.